Very good evening, all of you. I welcome all of you to today's session. Let me introduce myself, those who are new for them. I'm Dr. Meenakshi Narula. I'm Microsoft Master Trainer, All India Educator Forum resource person. I do conduct sessions for the teachers, their professional development, and on this platform, you see, we discuss various things. Even this is a platform where we share, where we exchange our knowledge. We share what we discovered, what we got to know from some another platform, from some another sessions, and we want all the participants to share their experiences too, so that there should be a great education, there should be a great knowledge exchange for all of us. Because you see, we are the stakeholders, the parents, the teachers, the students. We have got the responsibility to make the teaching learning process interesting, engaging for, you see, everybody. If we are talking about teaching learning process, that should not be only interesting for the student, that should be interesting for the teachers as well. When we are teaching in our classes, we should also look forward to our classes. In the morning, we should also not think like, oh, we have to turn on our laptop, then we have to sit, and that is a boring routine. It should not happen. I always say teachers are the co-learners. I always say that teachers are the co-learners, and they have to, you see, when they are the co-learners, they have to research also. They have to go for innovative strategies in their classes, right? So that they can go for more engagement in the classes, right? The children, they should also look forward to their classes. They should innovate, bring something new to the class. Okay, not maybe every day, but at least once in a week, there should be something new, right? So children also look forward to the classes. And I have taken another part also, when we are talking about teachers, students, parents too. Parents, without parents, this process of education is not possible. When we are talking about, it's a triangle: teacher, student, parent. We all have to work in collaboration with each other, and the society, the community as well. When the little children, they are being taught something by the teachers in their school. Now we are having a virtual school. We are using the parent space, right? And parents are there, who are there to facilitate the learning process. So that should be engaging and interesting for the parents as well. Here today, we have come up with another wonderful session, back to board. So on this platform, you see, I won't be telling you more about games. It is an interactive platform. Today, I want each one of you should come up and share at least one way by which we can make the teaching process, the teaching learning process interesting, right? And today's special guest, as we usually have some special guests on our platform, Mr. Rahul. He is a co-founder, Board Edu Games. So he is also going to share some of the board games, educational games that have been created by them. I have already gone through those games. They are such wonderful games, and would be giving you some ideas like how you can make your education, your lessons, your teaching a real fun. And there would be a lot of engagement. You know very well, when we talk about gamification in education. Gamification, children play games on their mobile phones, on the devices, iPads, okay, PSP and what not. So they play number of games, and sometimes they play destructive games too. So we need to engage them in some educational games, so that they should look forward to some educational games, and they should learn something. Okay, during gamification, they just learn, not intentionally, but unintentionally, they learn so many things. I say, that's my feeling, like as this virtual world is irresistible, we cannot live without it. Like the virtual games, the children, they are just addicted to these. So we can have some physical games too, some board games on this, like during this lockdown period, during the social distancing, when we are observing, when we are at home, the school doors are locked, though we are having the virtual classes, we are spending more time with our children, with our family. So here we can spend some time and we can play some games with them. So without taking much time, I just hand over it to Mr. Rahul so that he can tell you something about board games. Yeah, Mr. Rahul, the platform is all yours. I'm just stop sharing my screen so that you can go ahead. And I'll just put you on spotlight too. Let everybody see you. Yes, Mr. Rahul. It's yours.
Thank you so much for the introduction, ma'am. And it's honestly great to see what you have also done with games and education over the past few years. And I'm very excited to see what everyone else has come up with as well. So one thing I would request you is it's just a 30% session. So I would like if it were interactive. And the way it's going to work is I'm not going to present anything like a presentation or anything like that, but I've kept a few activities for us, some nice discussions, and of course I will show you the games that I've come up with. So maybe it can serve as some kind of an innovation or just some idea for you to build upon. So first I want to start off by asking all of you. So we start from to the interactive part from now itself. And I think you can either just raise your hand or I think you can just unmute yourself and kind of speak if you feel relevant. So have any of you ever tried to make some kind of fun while teaching? And if so, any example would be great.
Yeah, teachers, you may please unmute yourself or you can raise your hand if you want to share like how you bring a lot of fun and engagement in your classes. I mean, any of the way by which you foster engagement.
Like we use various virtual tools ball, quiz, Padlet, whiteboard, Jamboard, interaction.
Okay.
Okay, that's great. Anyone
There are
else?
some virtual digital tools to engage the students in the platform.
Yes, I used to play with them or give the quizzes, uh, use quizzes or Canva activity or presentation, something like that.
Okay. And Zainab, I think, has raised her hand, so you can go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, in the virtual platform, I use games from WordWall, where anagrams, handmans, and learning apps. They have good games, and when we were in school, though, we have activity teaching method. So I used to use a lot of games like for chemistry. I have dices where I had put the names of catans and anions on the dices, and they
Okay.
had to throw the dice and make the chemical formula of whichever catan and anions is displayed on the dice. So
Yeah,
I had
that's
made
Great.
card games and
very
for
engaging.
them. Yeah.
So I'll give you an example of myself too.
Archana ma'am
So,
is also there. Archana ma'am has also raised her
oh
hand.
yeah, sorry. Archana ma'am, go for it.
Yes, sir. Good evening and Jain sir. Sir, actually, basically, when I start the class on virtual platform, I use Mentimeter. I found it very, innovative also, and just want to know the opinion of students that what is the
Okay.
what is their mood today. So I use that also, and the tools which ma'am said like Padlet, Backlet, these all are also I was using. I found it very, innovative.
Yeah, it's quite unique how all the tools that the teachers are use nowadays all have to be some or the other tool which helps with the teams, and just how the seamlessness from shifting to education in classes to online has become. And it's quite excellent to see that. I'm sure all of you as teachers, of course, none of these tools would ever happen in actual classes because we never used to use these systems, and now how quickly you've been able to adapt and come up with these tools as well. So when I was studying in school, there was a teacher of mine. She used to carry a sponge ball to her class, and what would happen is every time she was explaining a concept, she would throw the sponge ball to one of the students, and whoever caught the sponge ball, whichever area it landed in, they had to come up and answer the question. And if they didn't, they had to keep standing until somebody else who got the sponge ball answered it correctly. So when it then shifted to kind of online learning, she did a very similar thing, except obviously she cannot actually throw a sponge ball on students. So she used to use those, emojis and reactions that they have. She used to randomly click on a student and throw them like an emoji, and then whoever would be the recipient of that would have to kind of like answer the question. So a lot of different teachers have kind of different tools to make it fun, and it's quite interesting to see all these types of things. But anyway, I think that the topic of conversation is more about using actual board games in learning, and I definitely agree that over online classes, board games as such might be difficult. So I want to throw another question out to the teachers, and again, if you have an answer, go for it and or raise your hand. Is that have any teachers actually thought of, for the ones who said they've made card games or some kind of game to teach the students, of making a game, for example, emailing it to some of the parents and asking the parents to maybe print it out, or just print out and cut the cards or whatever, and then having the parents play with the kids, and then maybe asking the kids or quizzing them on it. Have any of you tried that?
Yes, Dipti ma'am, you may please share your response.
Yes, sir. Good evening, sir. Good evening, ma'am. Yes, I have done in my class, in third class for social science. I them one task to make. Am I audible, ma'am? To make
Yeah.
slip for states, different states, slip for different states, and then whenever whatever the state will come to in your hand, you just write down the capital of that and your language of the state, so they are very easily play that game and enjoy the game. They are easily play with their siblings or their parents.
And what was their reaction like to the game? Did they enjoy it? Were they able to understand states much better after that?
Yes, sir. Yes, because playway method is always working well. It's my opinion, and I also enjoy the games in my virtual classes also, and my students are also enjoying games. Actually, we are learning by doing only.
Okay, great.
Okay.
Excellent. Anyone else would like to add upon this question?
One more game, sir, I have made.
Yes, of course.
Just to draw one globe,
Okay.
Earth, and then they just draw the things they can see in the world, like animals, birds, trees, and whatever they can see in the world. They just draw on it and just cut it into the pieces. So they make the puzzle game.
Okay.
Two games I
Understood.
did recently.
Excellent. Anyone else has any kind of innovative games they've come up with?
I guess Zainab ma'am wants to share something. Yes, Zainab ma'am.
Yeah, even this puzzle games remind me. I have made a lot of jigsaw puzzles with diagram of the heart and all. So where I have a circulatory system diagram. I put the puzzle grid and I cut it into laminate it and cut it into pieces. And group wise, I give them to sort out the puzzle to introduce the chapter or at the end of the chapter, just to revise the diagrams and all.
Okay, great. And were they able to do it better because of the game, do you think?
Yeah, they
I mean,
enjoy when we start with the game.
I'm sure they would have
And
had
it's
fun
always a
playing it.
group activity. It's a group
Yeah.
activity, so that's why they enjoy it a lot.
Yeah. I think a lot of teachers nowadays are also using this breakout rooms, no, Meenakshi ma'am? I don't know if they use Microsoft or what app, but they kind of have these breakout rooms, right? Where they separate some students into
Yeah,
batches.
yes. Earlier, actually, initially, Microsoft was not offering breakout rooms, and now breakout rooms are available in Microsoft Teams, also Zoom. Also, they are using breakout room. Most of them, I do not know. Like, yeah, Anamika ma'am wants to share the experience. Yeah, Anamika ma'am.
Ma'am. So for the breakout, yesterday only I have used breakout rooms with my students. I have divided on groups, and then I asked them to create two slides at least in the presentation. We were talking about so there I asked them to create two slides on France, famous tourist places of France. And my surprise when I checked, means the students were very easy. They collaborated, and within span of time, they were able to create their presentation using the various transition and animation effects. So it was such an feature which I personally enjoyed. And later, the feedback which I received from the students, the class was quite interacted about it. So that was again a wonderful thing which we have recently.
Excellent, excellent, excellent. I think Deepthi ma'am has also raised her hand. Oh no, she's already spoken. So, yeah. Do you want to speak again, ma'am? Okay, no worries. So, I do think actually that the breakout rooms is quite an enjoyable thing for kids, because even in schools I'm sure everyone used to enjoy doing the project in groups, because it just gives them a chance to one, the projects are always fun. I mean, it's kind of a break from learning if you give them an activity, but also in groups they kind of either are with their friends or they get to make new friends. So it's a win-win situation for all students. And I think that another thing that maybe teachers can kind of explore is this concept of making some kind of game, like a puzzle, for example. And in breakout rooms, maybe they can email the puzzle to parents. Maybe they can print it out, and in the groups itself, maybe they can come up with a game, or kind of have to solve the puzzle, or any game, for example. And then the results of the games, or how quick each group was able to do it, could maybe have an effect on, or it could just be something like a quiz or something. It depends on the curriculum. But yeah, I mean, I think this could be an idea for kids to have a break, but also have something new in class. So another thing I wanted to ask you about is, I've seen a lot of videos online where students are coming up with new and innovative ways to show that they're attending the session, but they're actually not. So I saw one where someone had taken a stick figure, like a Lego, and put it in front of their camera, and then just gone away. Or they've taken their phone and put it over here, like as an image of themselves. Or they act like their screen is frozen, or anything like that. Do any teachers have any funny experiences where you kind of caught a kid? Yes, sir.
Triple words. Triple words.
Yes, sir. Everyone.
Then, uh, metaphor and real, like mahjong games, matching pairs.
Okay. Okay. Great. And Zena, ma'am, you have also raised your hand.
Yeah, I had a similar experience where one of my 10th standard student had put a picture where it looked like live he's sitting with the earphone and listening. And after some time, I felt that because his eyes and all are not moving, something is fishy. And I gave him a video call, and he didn't realize he picked up the call.
Oh.
So immediately he was caught over there over the video call. Uh,
But
that was
in such situations, do you punish the kid, or do you just laugh it off? Because they've
no,
put in a
just
lot
laugh
of
it off.
effort
It's
to.
a 10th standard students. Punishing will not help. But the only thing is they want to show we can play this type of game, and we want to
Yeah,
show that we understand what you're doing.
a lot of
That is
effort
it.
goes into this, no? Taking a
Yes.
picture and getting the perfect position and everything.
Yes. Yes.
Okay, great. So anyway, I think now I'm just gonna show you in brief the few of the games that I've made so far, and I do have a lot of more games planned out in the pipeline. And basically, what I started is I had a similar line or thought process as all of you, which is that why does school have to be boring? And we might like to think, some of you might like to think that it's not, but in the majority, most school children do kind of find it a bit boring. And so I had the idea of making board games linked to school subjects that are taught and covering a few concepts to see if it could help them learning. So I'll just show you a few. The first one that I'd like to show you is a game called Zoo Zone Adventurer, and it's a geography-based board game. So it covers concepts such as climatic zones, food chains, habitats, ecosystems, and various flora and fauna that are found. So it helps geography teachers and EVS teachers in a lot of subjects, not subjects, but topics such as trees when they're teaching or ecosystems when they're teaching, food chains, because it's kind of a fun game. And the point of it is to kind of help kids understand the concepts in a fun way. So without giving too much away about the game, I've just taken a board and divided it into the different climatic zones that are found in the world and labeled where they are. And whenever any kid lands on it, they get currency of a particular region, like some rainforest money or desert money or polar zone money. And they then get cards. They can buy cards using this money. And the cards are of different types, which are carnivores, herbivores, and plants specifically found in that region. So, for example, in the desert zone, you will get carnivores such as the coyote, the fox, the vulture. You'll get herbivores such as kangaroo and camel, and you get plants such as cactus and wildflowers. So, when teachers want to explain the types of features of trees, maybe why they grow in such areas, it becomes a bit easier for kids because they've seen the picture and they can slightly understand why. And then, of course, the aim of the game is to kind of make food chains using carnivore, herbivores, and plant cards. So it's a fun game. Takes about 20 odd minutes to play. Ideally, it can be played with kids in groups. So if any children staying near each other, or if the state is open, if the city is open, then they can meet and play it. But it can also be played with parents. And the whole point of it is to kind of make it such where the kid can learn a few things subconsciously while playing. One thing that we noticed when doing market research about this concept is that a lot of games, educational games which are there right now, are trivia games. It'll just be some kind of cards with the question answer format. So it'll be like, assuming the same concept, it'll be like, which of the following is a tertiary consumer? And they'll have a few options and they'll have to answer it. So in such kind of trivia games, either the kid knows the answer or they don't. But through a board game, you're giving them the option of learning subconsciously while they play the game. So I'm gonna just give everyone a minute or two if they want to ask any particular questions about this game as such. I know I haven't gone into it in too much detail, but anyone has any doubts or questions or some other information they'd like to know, please ask. Otherwise, I'll kind of show you the next game and then we can discuss about it later. Okay, so would anyone like to know about how the game works or how they can use it? Any geography teachers in the seminar? So Shield sir, I think you had raised your hand. If you want to ask something, go ahead. If not, then no worries. Okay, I guess not. So I'll quickly tell you about some of my other games as well. Um, this one is called Make
Rahul
Words
sir,
with. Yeah.
Rahul sir, I guess there is some noise coming maybe from your side because I also muted myself and there is some sound is there. So that creates
So
some disturbance. Is there?
the construction of the metro is going on outside
Okay.
my house, and that is something that cannot be controlled. So that's probably a bit annoying. Sorry to everyone, but it's out of my hands as well. So Yeah, the next game is the small little card game, and it's based on English. And inside this, the cards have a few several decks, which are a vowels deck, a consonants deck, a categories deck, and a points deck. And how the game works is face down, kids have to pick up different cards of vowels and consonants, and then have to take a category. The categories are such like they have to make words, maybe only three-letter words, or words ending with a vowel, or words containing two consonants, or just a very simple category for younger kids, so that they have to make as many words as they can adhering to this category. So the point of this game is to kind of increase their vocabulary, and yeah, we've also provided them a link wherein they can see all the possible words that could have been made using those letters and that category. So let's now go back into again a bit of interactive talking before showing you some of my other games. And I would like to ask any of you who have come up with these kind of games, how did you come up with it? Like, what was the first thought process that came in your mind when you decided to create something fun for the kids? Yes, Geeta ma'am.
Good evening, sir. Being a maths teacher, but just for them to increase the English vocabulary, I used to share my Excel sheet and we used to go into the word building. Like I start with an alphabet from A to Z, one child says stop, and then we start making words using that alphabet. And then the class is divided into two groups, either the boys and girls batch or team A and team B, and then the scoring goes on in that way. And that way we many a times introduce some mathematical terms in it, and then we play with it, and then we start our work. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. That sounded like a lot of fun hearing it as well. And I was wishing I was in your class so that I could also play it. Anyone else would like to share an experience of how the initial thought of a game or something that they created has come out? Let's try and make it an interactive session, because this way we get a lot of other people's points of views as well. So if anyone has any anything to add, please go for it. Yes, Deepti ma'am. Go ahead.
Last year, we were using e-deck books, and in the e-deck books, we have received games books also, board games books. So that when the chapter is begin, we have to be play one game, then we can start the chapter. Before we play, we can't teach them the concept of the chapter, so they are easily understood the concept by the board games, and board games are very interesting. E-deck books which they are providing us, they are very interesting.
Yeah, it means, sir, I just would like to say, like, there are so many publishers who, along with their books, they send some board games also. Okay, some games are being made so that the students, they can have fun. They have some activity classes. And dear teachers, we are also sharing our experiences. Sir is going to share some of the games that he has created. And here I am just intervening because I want to share some of the another games with all of you. Like, for example, we all enjoyed and played this I mean to say snake and ladder, right? We played snake and ladder during our childhood. We loved it a lot, the snake and ladder game. So if we can just little bit improvise it, I mean, wherever there is a ladder, if we can put some question over there, right? It can be a puzzle, it can be a mathematic question. It means in a class, when the child is coming to that very ladder, the child will able to climb the ladder only and only if he or she answers that very particular question. So this is how we can just tweak those snake and ladder as per our choice. And even you see, children, they even enjoyed playing Uno games also. We can make some kind of variation in that, right? Because I got a challenge, I would like to say, because I was told to teach social science to the students, and though it is very difficult for me to remember states, capitals, and it was really very difficult, right? Because I didn't enjoy learning social science, but now I'm getting interest into it because my son is very fond of social science. He even teaches social science, so I even get to know some of the games too. Like for example, you can make some small cards. As I was showing small cards, we can have different cards of the states from different countries, right? We can shuffle them and let the children distribute, and then they can, share one card at a time, but they have to collect all the states of one country and maybe the countries of a particular continent. So this is how they have to do it, and even if they are familiar with, they know very well like which state belongs to which country or which country belongs to which continent, then only they will be able to have that pile and then say bingo and all. I mean, these kind of fun games you can create on your own on small cards. Even you can ask your children to create their own cards, so that you should not have to do so many things. So let them do it, let them play with the family members, let them play with each other and share their experiences with you on this virtual platform. Let them record it while playing on Flipgrid and share. I mean, that will bring a charm in your class too, right? Yeah, back to Mr. Rahul now. Thank you. Yes.
Yeah, so my point of asking you this was to give you a few tips on how to come up with ideas for games and how we started it. So I'm sure all of you would have played some or the other board games throughout your life. Otherwise, you probably won't have been on this seminar. And the whole point of it is you can very easily come up with something new from an existing game, just as ma'am was saying. So let's just take, for example, Risk, which is a game where you have to fight different countries and take over the world. So obviously you can try and just tweak it a bit. Maybe instead of fighting different countries, you can change it to the capitals of the countries or the leaders, the presidents and prime ministers of the countries. And you can find out, okay, if I know who this leader is, maybe then I can then I can hold the country. I can get him or her to my team. You can take another game, Battleships, for example. Again, it's about shooting and sinking someone else's ships. But the good point of Battleships is, again, it's about there's a grid. And in the grid, there are different spots, and you have to target the spot. So you can use that also to kind of teach them something. Instead of an actual ship, you can put an object there which is relevant to your class. And if somebody, kind of pinpoints that object, they could understand. You can use it to teach shapes in math. You can put a circle, a square, triangle. So a lot of different ideas can just come in from existing games that are there. And this is similar to how we started ours. Of course, our games are a little more in detail and thought out, because if I make a game that is somewhat similar to something in the market, I will probably get a copyright infringement on me. So we have to come up with something a little more detailed, but especially for teachers, like some of the beautiful examples I just heard, it's a lot of fun and very good to hear the way that different teachers are coming up with games. And for those who want to but don't know how, just my advice would be just think of very simple games that you play. It can be a very easy game. It can be even a tic-tac-toe, noughts and crosses, or just a very simple game. And just think, what are the aspects of the game? How does the game work? If I remove this aspect of the game, will the game still work or no? So let's say if you remove aspect A from the game and the game still works. So that means that the core gameplay is made up of aspects B, C, or D, or some other ideas B, C, or D. So then if you replace A with E, where E could be something educational, will the game still work because B, C, and D is still intact? So I haven't had to dwell on it too much. I haven't had to change it too much, but just by tweaking it, can it help me teach my subject? So I'll show you this math game that I made, for example, and it's very similar to the English game. So the English game we thought out and we came up with, and our idea was to make this math game a sister game. So it's very similar to the English game. What I did is I replaced the vowels and consonants deck with a 1-digit deck, a small numbers deck, and a big numbers deck, which is 2 and 3 digits. And similarly, how in the English game they have to pick out vowels and consonants randomly, and kind of make words. Here they pick out small and big numbers, and using the signs plus, minus, multiplication, and division, they have to reach a solution, which is there also in the cards. So you can think of games that are already existent. You can think of how to draw some inspiration from those games and kind of use it to teach your subjects. So another few tips that I'd like to give you, because I'm sure most of the teachers came to hear this as to how they can kind of make learning more fun through board games, is that when we say board games for teachers, it doesn't necessarily have to be a box with the board with some cards with the tokens. It can be anything as long as it doesn't involve a screen and as long as it is some kind of learning through fun. So it can be even a word search, a crossword which you make relevant to your subject. When I was first marketing my geography game, I just made a couple of word searches on animals, on climates, a couple of crosswords on what are types of herbivores, types of carnivores, and everything. And those, like when I put up a few stalls at a few kind of competitions and these kind of fests, a lot of kids would just come and they'd be attracted by the word search and crossword, and they would sit outside our stall for about 5, 5, 6 minutes until they sat and they finished it. So it's not very difficult and to come up with something to teach. And another thing is, I think most like I would recommend to most of you to just try something. Like, you never know if you find teaching a bit difficult, in the sense that you feel like kids might be bored, or they're not paying attention, or they're doing this where they just put their phone over here and they go. You can just try like coming up with a new game or anything in that sort, and you never know, you might find that the number of children that attend or are having fun or participate, because I think the main difficulty in seminars and teaching is actual participation that might increase. So another question to try and ask you is, I want an activity now from all of you, and the activity is pretty simple. uh, I want you to quickly think out. Firstly, if when you speak, I would like you to say which subject you teach, and I would like you to quickly say any one topic from your subject that you feel could very easily be made into a game. And this is a quick round, so I'd like people to quickly respond and not take too much time to think on it. Just quickly say, hi, I teach this subject and I feel that.
Raised her hand. Geeta ma'am has raised her hand.
Hello.
Yes,
I'm
Geeta.
Geeta. I teach maths, as said, and I prefer an activity on algebra, where I can introduce the variables and unknowns and the coefficients of that, the real numbers in it, to the activity based. You want me to elaborate a little more on it, or will you help me in it?
I can think of a lot of games that can be made through algebra. So I think if you have any one particular in mind, you can elaborate on it.
I just ask them to go around and taking a thing, like take any object, take 3 pencils, because they're of the class 6 standard. Like, I ask them, take 3 pencils, cost of it, then find out the total cost of it. If the total cost is given, the father has purchased, the parent has purchased it, the total cost on the box is given to you. Then find out the cost of one pencil, sorry. That way, I just give them simple examples of the environment from there, but
Yeah,
not on a board as such.
that sounds simple and fun. Just off the top of my head, I think maybe we can try and combine it with unitary method as well. So you can kind of ask some, like, if someone's holding 3 pencils and another child is holding, let's say,
That is
2
a
pens.
unitary method. That's a unitary method. In that, they'll be finding out the cost of one pencil. And if the cost of one pencil is given, then they can find out the cost of many pencils. just pencil or any object available in the
Yeah.
house.
Great example. Deepti ma'am has also raised her hand, I think.
Yes. Here we can make three dice, two for numbers and one for signs, addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. Because I am teaching little ones, so I just use four signs only. So they just float the dice and just do as per the dice shown to them.
Yeah, yes, the little children, they'll be able to enjoy, okay, using dice, mathematical operations and all the basic operation, addition, subtraction and multiplication. Yeah, wonderful idea, right?
So ma'am, for this, I would recommend to you to create a small competition where what you do is just the same thing. Let's say there are 3 dice, and the thing with the dice is it's only small numbers, right? It's 1 to 6. So what you do is you give them 1 minute and see in 1 minute how many they can get correct. So let's say they roll the dice and it comes 6 plus 3. If they say 9, very good. They can pick it up and roll it again. So create a combination of 1 minute to see how many they can get, and then whoever gets the most, maybe the top 3 or something, you can give them some kind of reward. Because another thing is they like with these games where there's some kind of reward involved. Otherwise, they feel a bit bored.
Right.
And you can also do
Thank
one
you.
thing. Let me tell you what you have to do. For example, they are rolling the dice, right? They are just came to my mind right now only. Suppose see, it's always there. It's always there in my drawer. Different dice. Okay, suppose they are rolling the dice and they get 3. You ask them whatever number is there, they have to add 1 in front of it. Okay. So it means the number is not 3 now, the number has become 13. So another number, if it is 2, the number has become 12. So now they can have for 2-digit number also, or maybe 2 and 1 digit. So this is on another time you may ask add 2 in front of the number. So likewise you can have, you can go till 100, like howsoever you want to go for that. So this is how, you can engage them in some of these activities. And here I would again like to intervene. Sorry, Mr. Rahul, just came to my mind. I let my children play in my EVS classroom when we were talking about different kinds of pollution. Right. So I asked them, you all have to make that, you know very well, tippy top we used to make with the help of paper. Okay, which color you want, red, blue, green, yellow, right? I asked them over there, you have to mention the different types of pollution. It can be air pollution, water pollution, noise pollution. Okay, so like this, they have to mention the different kinds of pollution, and then they have to ask, okay, if any child chooses any particular kind of pollution, and then questions will be related to that kind of pollution. What are the causes, how you can help in like prevention, of what all preventive measures to be taken. So it means when that particular child is choosing a particular type of pollution, means the child is very confident enough to talk about that topic, is ready to answer any question related to that very topic. So this fosters like confidence in them, and they will also be prepared. Okay, I have prepared these. Let me see who wins it. So teacher can also come up like that. Today I have this, and let me see if you choose, like you will be even getting something. So any number of questions you will be able to put. You may give some emojis, some badges to the students. Like even in the class on the virtual platform, you can have leaderboard also on your virtual platform. As I discussed leaderboard, Padlet last time. So you can organize over there also. So these things can be done. Over to you, Mr. Rahul.
Yeah, so I also just thought of a game based on your idea of using the dice. And I think it's a bit of a fun one. So what you can do is you can ask each student to choose and write any number between 1 to 100. So I think usually there are 30 or 40 students. So you'll get about 30, 40 different numbers. And what you do is then whoever rolls the dice, let's say a 3 comes, you kind of ask them to pick out every number which can be divisible, by 3. If a 4 comes, you ask them to pick out every number that can be divisible by 4. Or you can maybe do it for smaller numbers.
Multiples, with that, you can do anything. little bit we have to think, and we all are creative. You see, we all are creative. I was reading that day, it's always there on my table, Ken Robinson's book. Okay, creative, like we all are creative. So it was mentioned, like as in when we grow, we stop, we thinking like we think we are not creative. We sometimes think like children can only be creative. I am not creative, but actually we are creative. But to come to that creativity level, first of all, some kind of knowledge is also required. So if we have got some basic knowledge, Bloom's taxonomy, if we move from remembering that knowledge part to creativity, so how can we creative? I mean, we have to have some knowledge of a particular topic, and then only we can innovate, when we can be creative. So before I move to Mr. Rahul, there is somebody, Noor Firdaus has raised hand. Noor Firdaus, please, you can come up with whatever you want to share.
Yes, ma'am. Good evening to all of you. Actually, I just also want to share some of games because I'm listening to all of you, and some games I had created also. So I thought it should be share with all of you. I have also done with the dice game. Like what I have done, I have created one box, and I have mentioned 1, 2, 3 to like 20 to 25 numbers are there. And in each and every box, what I have done, I have created some flashcard. It's for the small one actually, because I'm also pre-primary school owner, so I'm just sharing for the small ones. And I have put some flashcard with including animals, vegetables, numbers, and it all are mixed up with the box. And the small kid, what they have done, when they rolls the dice, and whatever the number comes over there, and they just choose the, ma'am, this one is the box. So, and they open the box, and what they found, so they have to understand, and they have to say about the spellings are there, so they spell, and the colors are there, so they understand what color is it is. So many things are there actually. So I have created this. I hope it will helpful for all the teachers also.
Yeah, certainly, ma'am. Certainly, wonderful, wonderful. And even just came to my mind, you create your own dice. You mentioned you want to have, I mean, skip, just leave one. Okay, you can have leave 1 and 2, started from 3, 4, 5, 6. Ask the students, okay, I'm giving you letter A. Let me see, like you have to make a word starting from letter A. It can be a 5-letter word, it can be a 3-letter word, it can be a 4-letter word. So like that will foster their vocabulary. So this is how, obviously, as Mr. Rahul has already said, board games doesn't mean you have to sit around the table, keep a board in the middle, and then only you will be playing. Board games, certainly it can be engaging, it can be, you can have a lot of fun, and in engaging the students, right? Let us make these board games also irresistible for the students. This develop the children's problem solving skills. The probability, you see, every time we used to play, we used to think, okay, I mean, if we are playing a Ludo, like, oh, we should get a 6. Oh, see, I got a 6. That we should get a 6, and then only we will be able to come out of the house. I mean, these are really very interesting, and let us all make it a real fun for the students. Let them spend some time, have that off screen time too, like let them have fun. And nowadays what is happening is, I am sitting right now in front of my computer, my husband is working on his computer, my son is sitting on his computer, right, and my daughter is having a mobile in her hand. Can we all have some time in a day, maybe 1 hour we can fix, okay, we will be sitting together, we will be playing some kind of board games, we can talk to each other, we can have fun. Let us be children with our children, right? So Zainab ma'am, you want to say something? You have raised your hand. Noor Firdaus has also raised hand. Yeah, please, one by one, you may share what's there in your mind.
We were using Uno games for doing integers, squares, and cubes. So we divided the students into groups and gave them few Uno cards where every child had a turn to pull out 2 cards, square the first number which you get on the card, and add the second one. If they are of the same color, add the 2. If they are of different color, subtract the 2. And they keep writing their points and see who wins in the group. So that same Uno cards we have used for different maths topic. If it is integers, take the first card which you get as a negative number, and take the second one as a positive, and add them, subtract them, multiply them. So with very frequently I've used Uno cards for playing such games.
That's
Excellent.
wonderful.
Excellent game.
I think somebody else is also there who wants to share something.
So just before that, I also want to say to the teachers that
Yes.
a
Yes.
lot of teachers might think that the games that we're discussing are only for subjects like math and English. A lot of teachers might feel like, oh, we teach history or we teach chemistry or physics, so then how can I make a game? It's not so easy. So I think this is incorrect. So I'll just give you an example of the history game I made, which a lot of people have told me that history is not a subject that you can teach from a game, or for example. So the history game, what I've done is I've focused on the fact that there are certain world events which are being taught to them, and for the kids to try and understand what is the impact of the event. So in the event, I've made it fun, which they have to kind of go around the world and explore different countries. And when they land on a country, they have the option of exploring that country's history. And based on the event that they roll and land on, then it impacts all the players. So, if they land on a card, if they land on the spot, sorry, which says that Shah Jahan, in for India, where it says Shah Jahan built, the Taj Mahal, it ended up becoming a wonder of the world. So it's a positive event for the world. So everyone gets to tick off another country on their list. But if they land on where the British won the Battle of Plassey in Bengal, so that's a bad event for India. So India has to remove one of the countries that they've ticked off. So that way, focusing on Indian history and World War history, which is what's taught in school, you can find a way to teach these concepts in a fun way. So playing through the games, like in the game I've mentioned the year and the event, the kids might remember the year, remember the event, which is important for the exams. And also they kind of understand what impact will have for which country. Like you see, the Taj Mahal becoming a wonder of the world is positive for all the countries. But Battle of Plassey won by Britain only kind of impacts Britain and India. It doesn't really impact France or South Africa or something like that. So based on the game, you can kind of teach any subject, any concept. My upcoming game, I'm making a kind of chemistry one where there are different rooms or different labs where they can get elements from. So there are some mines where they get some metals from, they get oxygen, hydrogen, and everything. And what they have to do is getting those, they have to, I'm making it like a food thing. So how you have a recipe and you have to make a dish, here I'm giving them the formula as a recipe and they have to make the compound and submit it. And when they do that, they get points. So the more complicated the compound, the more points they get. Like how in a restaurant, if you order a simple like chai and biscuit, it'll come in 2 minutes. But if you order a fancy meal, it'll take 15-20 minutes to come. So similarly, if they make something simple like HCl, hydrogen plus chlorine, they'll probably get 1 or 2 points. But if they make, let's say H2SO4, which uses a lot more elements, then they get more points. So it's very simple to come up with ideas to teach subjects and concepts which teachers might feel as difficult, but it's not so daunting. Sorry, ma'am, I cut you off just to say this.
No, sir, carry on. Please do show your games too.
Yeah, I don't know if you want me to, I kind of explained it in brief. I don't know if you want me to open and show all the elements of the game.
If you can, please.
Yeah. Okay. So, as I said, for the history game, this is how the board is, and it's a fun kind of foldable board. And what I've done is I've made it in such a material that if kids kind of spill some food or water on it, they can easily wipe it off. And so here, if you see, I'm not sure if you can read it, but I've divided the kind of countries into these ladders with the events are. And then based on what they land on, they have these kind of lists of countries they have to visit and tick off. So they have these lists with about 8 countries, and I've also given them erasable markers so they can just take it off and rub it off pretty simply. And whoever finishes their list first wins. So accordingly, if they land on any of these countries, they can tick it off. But again, as I said, if they land on a positive historic event, like example, in the US in 1619, the event is that African blacks are brought to US, which is the beginning of slavery, which is bad for the whole world. So everyone has to lose a spot that they've ticked up. But if they land on 1965 in the US, which is the March on Washington, which was in support for equal rights for blacks. That's a good event for the full world. Or France or Germany, the start of the World War, everything. So it depends on it depends on the kind of event. They can understand its importance and its impact. So I think all the teachers probably agree that, if there are features in any particular subject, like it's like in history, for example, if they have to learn the year, the date, the event, that's something that they have to learn. We cannot replace book learning with games, but we can definitely supplement to it. If by playing the game, like on this game, for example, I have included 48 historic events. So out of 48, if they're able to remember even 10, and that helps them with 5 or 6 marks more in the exam, or it helps them learn and remember 10 more dates in their book because of playing this game, then I would feel that it's worth it. And if they can understand the impact, especially while studying topics such as Cold War, which is slightly difficult for kids, then, if we kind of make a small impact by making their learning fun and removing the stigma of a subject. I'm sure how many of you would have definitely heard that kids saying, I'm just very bad at this subject, like mujhse nahi ho payega no matter how much I try. So then they kind of give up on that subject. So if we are able to bring the interest of the child back into the subject, then I think it's a win-win for all of us in the education sector.
Yeah, certainly, sir. Very well said. Like games are not there to replace the books, but they are kind of add-ons. You see, when we are using Google, when we are using Microsoft, we are having some kind of add-ons too, right? Add-ons make our work easy and interesting. Like for example, if on Google Meet, there is no possibility to download the attendance, and I am having an add-on Meet attendance, I will be able to download the attendance. In Google Gmeet, there is no feasibility of recording. If I add on, I will be able to record, right? There is no feasibility on Google Gmeet, like I can mute my participants, right? So then there is another add-on and I'll be able to do that. So I mean to say these games, they work as add-ons, right? And they would enhance our teaching learning process. And certainly we should go for it. One thing I would like to say, generally when let me tell you, last time I talked about online games and all, there were so many people who were interested for that. When I'm talking about board games, not only that, I would say maybe 50% of them were interested to talk about it. Why? Now, this is because we think like board games, they are just obsolete, right? वो तो पुराने ज़माने की बातें हैं. I mean, board games, who plays? We play only online games, right? Our board games, when we are having at home, that are either maybe on some shelf we have kept, okay? Maybe in some cupboards, and we do not take them out. The carom board we used to play, nowadays we do not. We just have. And can you see, when during summer break, I take my children to visit their grandparents' home, and their cousins and all, they all are sitting in one room having their own devices, playing on. I said play together. They are saying we are playing together only. We all are playing online games and we are playing together, sitting in different corners. I mean to say, this is how these virtual games, they are so irresistible. So let's have some physical contact too. That is also very much important, right? Let us know each other. Let us know about problem solving skills too, critical thinking on this manner. And I'm not every time like focusing eyes and then playing, and when somebody calls, no, please do not disturb, because our eyes, our fingers, everything over there. So let us not do like that, right? So on this very platform, may I request all the participants, number one, to stay at the end of the session, because I'll be sharing the code to redeem. It becomes very difficult, or maybe I'll be sharing the form link from which you will be able to get your certificate. It becomes very difficult. I am so sorry for that. Like, it becomes very difficult to share on everybody's single window. Very difficult for me. You see, if there are 100 participants, I cannot entertain all 100. Right? Please do stay till the end of the session. And now, if you want to share your experiences, please you can go ahead. And Mr. Rahul, he has created so many games and that are available on his website too. You will, if you want to buy, you can go ahead. Mr. Rahul, please, you can share the details. And after that, I will be sharing the link for the certificate for today's session.
Yeah, thanks a lot, ma'am. So our games are selling across India on our website and on Amazon as well. And especially for the seminar, for all the participants, we've created a kind of a coupon code for you, which ma'am can send to you. So if any of you are interested in checking out the games or purchasing it, either to show the school or just for your family, for your kids or for your nieces and nephews, then I think you can get in touch with ma'am, or I'll try and put the link here so that, you know. And if anyone has any further questions which they want to ask me, if anyone needs any help or anything, then definitely you can ask ma'am, and ma'am will share it my details. Or, you know, you can message me directly over here, and I'll share you my details if you want to get in touch. But otherwise, thanks to everyone for attending, and I hope this session was helpful to all of you. And I hope together we can make learning more fun through the use of board games. So thanks, everyone.
So thanks all of you. And here on my screen, if you all can take either a screenshot, right?
Yes, ma'am, we have taken.
Right, tinyurl.com/edu June 11. Okay, you will be able to get your certificate for attending today's session on Back to Board. Right, please take a screenshot. Those who have not taken, it's 50 of us are there today. Yeah. Thank you all of you, and please do keep on sharing your experiences with us, and soon we'll be coming up with a number of more sessions on online teaching, on virtual boards, another form of virtual boards. We already had one on Padlet. We are having another one, how to write blogs, different kind of platforms for that to make it easy for you all. How you can create your own website without spending a single penny, right? We will be coming up with that session 2. Please do stay with us, all of you. And if you want to share your experience, please do come ahead. I know some of the guests are there from different parts of the world. I would like to say here they have joined us, right? Different parts of the world. If you will be able to share your experiences with us, that will be really a wonderful education exchange. Anybody wants to share the ideas? Please go ahead. Otherwise, we will be ending today's session on a happy note. Back to board, right? Spend daily at least an hour with your children. Yes.
Yeah. So I'm
Yes,
not sure
ma'am.
how to share the link on this. So if ma'am, should I just show?
Yeah, you have to share that to me, or you may share the screen, because either I have to add you in this team so that you can share it on chat. Chat is not accessible to the attendees.
Okay, no worries. So then could you just send the link across, or should I screen share my?
That's okay. You can share the screen. They can take a snapshot also, and I will share with them in the group also. I have to share the previous links also that that have been shared by Mr. Abhishek for Learn with Comics. That also I'll be sharing today.
Okay, so I hope you can see, but basically this is the website, and for any of you, you can take a screenshot. It may be helpful to you, and yeah, just some of the games we've made. So that's it.
It's board edu games, and you have to exchange the position of 2 letters, BOARD.
Yeah, it's board edu games.
Okay, this is how then you will be able to go there. I will be sharing the link also, right?
Okay, great.
Right. Thank you, all of you. Thank you, Mr. Rahul, for sparing your time from your busy schedule. And I mean, really wonderful audience. I mean, they have shared audience. They are the participants. See, they all are the participants. They all shared their experiences with us. Right. We have learned from you all. I have also learned a lot. Right. Number of great ideas. Geeta ma'am, Zainab ma'am, Firdaus ji, and number of others, they have shared their experiences. Looking forward to more interactive sessions in the days to come. Right? Thank you, everybody. Thank you, all of you. Have a great evening. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Bye. Have a nice day.